Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Monster Hunter Podcast Show. It is episode 111 for the week of July 7th, 2013. Hi! Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Monster Hunter Podcast. This is Shepard from TeamworkCast.com, subbing for our illustrious Chinstrap and otherwise charismatic navigator, Krystian. He is off visiting family, and so you'll have to suffer with my poor jokes and even worse, poor playing. With us this week, we have Cthulhu.
Greetings! I hope everyone had a good holiday weekend and look forward to the coming months of awesome games.
What was the tastiest thing you ate on the 4th of July?
Pretzel dog.
A penis.
From Sonic.
Whoa. So you had turkey dogs.
No, a pretzel
Good.
dog. It was like a pretzel bun.
Okay. Good. Sounds delicious. We also have a random visitor from the stream. Filling in for Nick and Krystian is going to be a rotating fourth. Right now we have Andy. If you love us, Andy, say something.
Hi, Andy.
Yeah. Oh,
jerk. And of course, in the background, we have our triumphant return of K.O. Han, also known as Nahxela.
No,
Nahxela.
He doesn't exist.
Does he exist at Asian camp?
Who told you about Asian camp?
Did is there anybody from the Asian camp that watches the Monster Hunter podcast?
I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know.
That'd be kind of a. Do you think that would help boost your credibility or lower your credibility?
It gives me public speaking experience. Does that count? I don't know. Most of them play stuff like StarCraft, so I don't know if Monster Hunter falls under their interests.
Maybe not. Although I don't know. It would be. It seems as the weeks and months go by, more and more people are picking up Monster Hunter to play in their channels. I think kind of like Dark Souls, it has that kind of, hey, everybody, watch me fail terribly aspect to it that people enjoy. And speaking of which, we are going to do the impossible today. We are going to kill Dad. So, I guess it's worth a shot.
Not Dad. Why?
We have to commit patricide.
You're gonna kill the dad?
We're going to kill the father in front of the child.
The dad cast is dead.
I'm not comfortable with that.
It's now
Rest
the dead
in
cast.
peace, Dad cast. We're gonna bury you.
I haven't done this quest.
It's
Neither
really
have I.
hard. This is really, really hard.
I'm gonna die.
We are all gonna die in new and varied ways. Speaking of which, of things that may cause people to die, probably due to heart failure because they played it too much, some small news about Monster Hunter Online. New videos have been released, things like that. Any basic impressions about that?
The beaver is a Congalala.
Is that basically what he does? All the Congalala movesets?
Yeah, he does pretty similar stuff. Like he does the claw swipes, the body slam, stuff like that.
And it very much looks like it was Hunter's Blade, the knockoff.
It's you think it has a lot of the animations and things that would make it seem a lot like Hunter's Blade, or
yeah, even the UI looks like it.
Goodbye, Andy. Goodbye, Andy.
Well, do we know at all about the developers? Are the developers at all related to the people that made Hunter's Blade? I mean, is that kind of what happened? Capcom just said, you know what, whatever, fine.
I saw someone mention something about that, but I wasn't 100% sure. Like, I wouldn't put it past it.
We've been spotted.
It's not good.
But I hadn't been able to confirm anything 100% yet. The first one was so kind of crappy, I didn't really pay much attention to it, so I didn't play much time with it.
Have any of you guys ever had the chance to play Hunter's Blade?
Yeah, it's gross.
I played it.
You like fighting Kirins with no thunder?
Just bizarre. Just really odd. It would be as if you told somebody to copy Monster Hunter and then remove all essence of soul and everything like that. Listening to the developers talking about Monster Hunter, you can tell, it's the same sort of thing that you get typically with, Blizzard games, right? And that there's, an unhealthy amount of polish put into it. And, it's the little things that you don't notice, intrinsically, but, your brain does.
Yeah.
So, when you're shooting things and you're hitting things, especially when you hit things with a Blade Master weapon, it slows down a little bit, as it passes through the monster's body. And it's the details like that typically the MMOs kind of miss out on a little bit, or they don't have. They don't have all the little sound effects. And that's because they're making a copy. They're maybe not necessarily working with the base source code. They're just copying all the assets that they were given, and they don't know how to do that, or they don't understand how to do that. Hopefully they'll figure it out. I tried to register for Monster Hunter Online, and I guess registration has been ended. It's been canceled. I'm sure if we really, really wanted, we could probably find some way to get maybe even press passes to be able to join the game.
Goodbye, Andy.
I don't know.
Goodbye, Andy.
Yeah. So that basically went more or less as expected.
Goodbye, Andy.
A shadowy flight into the dangerous world of a man who does not exist. Michael Knight, a young loner on a crusade to champion the cause of the innocent, the helpless, the powerless, in a world of criminals who operate above the law.
Oh, Jesus Christ, who invited Fly?
Surprise.
Oh, it's getting hot. It didn't take long for this to happen.
Take off all your clothes.
I'm wearing a Monster Hunter shirt. I'll rip it off my body.
I was wearing one yesterday.
And we're back with the least favorite participant in the stream, Fry. He has personally insulted me on many occasions.
Would you say he's your nemesis?
He is my nemesis.
What about Amald?
The mold is my best friend.
Oh.
I'm gonna give you all power.
I need more power.
I have the power.
Now I'm motivated.
You know, that's something I haven't really tested at all, is the boost you get from Demon Shot. Is it basically the same as like a Might Seed?
I don't know. But it also boosts elemental damage, so there's some other component in it.
Does it boost elemental damage, like, in the sense that, like, because your attack is going up, or it just natively boosts
If you
it?
see the icons on the left, there's like a green sword and a blue sword. The green sword is elemental up.
Oh, wow. You know, I can't really see that, because, like, it's not that I'm colorblind. I'm just...
The green is very dark green, so it looks like blue almost.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's a really, that's really nifty.
Monster Hunter details.
Yeah. That's that stuff we're talking about,
The
guys.
secrets of the Monster Hunter universe will be yours.
Who has them? Ow. I'm so scared right now. Woo! Gotta keep those smoke bombs going. I mean, it's not even that the little Plesioth is that difficult if he shows up. Like, it's actually really funny getting him angry and seeing him run, like, across the arena. It takes him
takes him
regular-sized
so
water
long.
beams.
He like looks like he's like in slow motion the entire
Just,
time.
like, scampering. Somebody's dropping another smoke.
I'm on it.
I'm double on it.
Whoa.
We gotta smoke this fish out.
We need our smoked halibut.
I like smoked salmon.
It's tasty.
I went to Alaska at one point, and there was so much smoked salmon. It was delicious.
I'd like to go to Alaska some days. I actually have a lot of family in Alaska. It's weird. So what you're saying here is, I don't know. I don't know that there's really any other way to do this
Bye
quest.
fry, bye fry, bye fry, bye fry.
We will
bye
not
fry,
miss
bye
you,
fry.
Fry. Maybe you should stay in there.
Goodbye, 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 goodbye,
Goodbye,
goodbye,
Nahxela.
goodbye, goodbye. That wasn't even
It's-
targeted at me.
Well,
Well,
all right. So much for that. You know, but that's the best part in these super monster quests, in that, like, the more people start dying, like, the rate of death just jumps up exponentially because you're getting targeted more.
yep. Well, like that one was like I started to take my my potion right as he was still facing away, and he managed to turn and spit at me, and that was it.
All right. Well,
Look at it this way: at least you no longer have to worry about your nemesis.
yeah, rip Fry. Okay, so the next person can join in, and it will be a rage match. And we could pretty much just keep what we're using now, huh?
Yep.
I don't want to.
No, you don't have to. I don't care.
My set's gross. I don't like it.
I'm not the boss of you.
Yeah, you're not.
You totally aren't the boss of me, Shepard. Jerk. We didn't kick Fry out. Well, we did, but then we invited him back because nobody else wanted to join.
Nobody wants to join the Plesioth death
Nobody
quest.
wants. Everybody's a little frightened, and I guess you can't blame them too much. So what has everybody been playing this past week?
I've been playing Dark Souls and Injustice.
Now, you know, my brother played Dark Souls for like a really, really long time. Like he did all sorts of things in that. Is it that you're just playing different builds the whole time, or what is it that you're able to do in that game to keep the replayability going so long?
Smoke weed every day. Smoke weed every day. Smoke weed every day. Smoke weed every day. weed every day. Smoke 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 weed every day.
When the clip's in the clip, man, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot. The kids try to get it, pop it like it's hot, pop it like it's hot, pop it like it's hot. Let the nigga get an attitude, pop it like it's hot, pop it like it's hot, pop it like it's hot. Got the rolling on my arm and I'm pouring Sean down and I'm on my best food 'cause I got it going on.
Smoke weed every day. Smoke weed every day.
For a while I did different builds and different gimmick challenges. Now I'm putting more focus on PvP. Like recently I had a quality build which is strength and dex. So I was doing a bunch of invasions in Township and some goon PvP matches. I'm also practicing speedrunning now to a small degree.
Well, this is going to be fun, guys. So, you know, do you do like a Black Halberd run for your speedruns in Dark Souls? Do you do magic? Do you give yourself any limitations? I mean, generally there's a limitation, right?
A while ago I did Black Knight Halberd Red Tearstone Ring run, except that was really hard, especially when I got to Ornstein and Smo, and I died a bunch, so I only have like a clear time of somewhere between 2 and 3 hours.
Still pretty decent.
Yeah, but the record is like 55 or 54 minutes or something like that. So it's like significantly longer, relatively speaking. But recently I started practicing Gravelord Sword route.
I was doing a run on the stream for a while where I was naked, using like heavy two-handed weapons only. Is that common at all? I mean, is armor really that important in Dark Souls, like it is in Monster Hunter?
Not really, no. Like, it adds some defenses, but for the most part, you're probably gonna get 2-shot or 3-shot, and then adding your armor won't do that much. The important thing is maybe the status resist and the poise.
Right. You know, explain poise for people that maybe aren't familiar with Dark Souls at all.
Yeah.
That maybe are familiar with Monster Hunter.
So in Dark Souls, poise is the stat that contributes to your stagger resistance. Basically, the more poise you have, the more resistant you are to getting flinched by certain hits. And you can only get poise from having armor. Like, leveling up will not give you any poise no matter what. And for the most part, it's tied to like the weight of the equipment you're using. So heavier weapons tend to have, or heavier armor sets tend to have more poise. So there's like that weight poise ratio that people talk about. And there are also certain poise cutoffs where a specific amount of poise will let you take a certain hit without flinching. So like, I think it's 53 poise lets you take a two-handed greatsword without staggering. 56 is like a running two-handed greatsword attack.
And so these are all things that you're trying to hit, especially if you're doing PvP and things like that. We're getting locked would pretty much mean that you're just dead instantly, right?
Usually, yeah. There's also a funky mechanic that not too many people know about unless you're a PvPer or maybe a speedrunner, where you can toggle escape stuff getting flinched. Essentially, you just switch one of your weapons and then you mash the sidestep button or the evade button.
Now that sounds almost like a glitch, sort of. Or maybe not something that was necessarily intended.
Maybe, I'm not sure, because What I think is happening is you're canceling the toggle animation into the sidesteps properties because the backstep has hyper armor. So I think that's what's happening. I'm not really sure though.
That's
like,
some chef sheet level analysis of Dark Souls. I like that.
Don't worry about it. If you watch speedruns of Dark Souls, there's a point in Sen's Fortress where they run up the boulder path, they turn around and then sidestep through it. They take damage, but they aren't flinched, so they could take like a shorter route up the fortress. And that's an example of it being used.
I like things like that. I mean, there is a skill kind of like that in Monster Hunter, right? The Dire Morales has a skill sort of like that, Rocksteady, that changes the way you flinch in this game, right?
Yeah, kind of. There's also like just armor on different moves, like the Great Sword gives you wind resist, stuff like that.
There's a lot of attacks actually that like you wouldn't think about it, but if you're doing them, you're resistant to certain things like certain attacks, even with the hammer. If like you're mid super pound or stuff like that, you're more resistant to things moving you around. Did you play a lot with the? I mean, it also makes you resistant to other players in terms of flinching, but I played with the skill. I think it's called Rocksteady is the activated skill. Unshakable,
yeah.
I think, is the armor skill.
Yeah.
I didn't like it much because I found that I was actually getting taking more damage. Like it may. Oh, we can try and rush him with our bombs. I don't know if it'll work.
Tail.
Ooh, I got dug. Go without me. Go without me.
Okay.
It's not good. Because the thing is, like, you'll be getting hit, right? Like a monster
Another
will
sleep.
Hit you, and then normally you'll have that flinch to kind of recover a little bit, but because of Unshakable, that actually won't happen. Mm-hmm. You'll just take the hit anyways.
And you also lose the fun getting upswung and getting all those iframes.
Yeah, sometimes you want that. I mean, there are occasionally Cthulhu's good at this.
Saving people with upswings.
Well, more launching people in general. About getting people in the air. But you know, if your gunner is like in a corner and you're a blade master and you can take the hit and they can't, sometimes you might want to consider doing something along the lines of upswinging them so they don't get insta-gibbed. It's rare, but especially if you're fighting something like Super Event Ivory Laggy, that might actually benefit the team.
As was evidenced from the save of Putty on one of the previous podcasts.
Yeah, I think it was episode 109.
Yeah. Can't remember.
How about you, Cthulhu? What have you been playing?
I've been playing a lot of Rogue Legacy and Final Fantasy XIV.
What is your favorite mutant baby in Rogue Legacy?
So far, my favorite one has been Dwarfism Stereo Blind. It was like a lich class. Just Dwarfism in that game is kind of really nice because like some of the bosses and some of the later areas are so bullet heavy. Being super small is really nice, and Stereo Blind makes it into Paper Mario. Like everyone flips like paper.
Sounds really fun. I love like roguelikes. I mean, I think I've mentioned it before. Like I love them. I've got an unhealthy passion for them.
I do too. I've spent a lot of time with roguelikes, but like so far the only time, well, there was one time where I had all three of my bastard children with Vertigo, and that was the worst one ever.
What does that do?
So Vertigo basically reverts this view of the game 90 degrees, so you're basically walking on the top, but the controls stay as if you were normal.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah. So,
that's not good.
Could
you just remap your controls, be like a dirty cheater like that?
You probably could, but man, there'd be a lot of you'd remap it like every time. Like I use Joy to Key because my computer won't recognize my gamepad as a 360 controller for Rogue Legacy.
Is it a 360 controller?
Yeah, it's set to default as 360 controls, but for whatever reason it won't recognize my controller that I have.
Weird.
So I'm like, whatever, I've got Joy to Key for that, and I could just make another profile for it, but it's a little odd to like be like, you know, when you're trying to jump, I was always trying like push down on the controller when I was in Vertigo and whatnot, because I wanted to go down on the screen, but no, it was up. It was a jump, and so it was a little odd, but I just typically sacrifice those characters and move on.
Is there a major disadvantage to just like purposely killing your characters in that, or no? Can you kind of just burn characters without losing too many resources?
You really can burn characters, like because if you spent all your money anyways, you know, just dying again doesn't really do anything besides give you a new character. Because you know, if you just go in and straight die. Now, if you going in and doing that after you have like a couple hundred, couple thousand, yeah, you know, it might have been a little bit of a waste, but not really. Like, the game really is designed to be like, die as many times as you want and learn from your stuff, and the more money you bring out, the better your next character is going to be, but you have to come out with money.
See, the thing is that, like, my favorite aspect of roguelikes is, like, literally, like, you die and, like, the game has ended.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm not a huge fan of continuing progress in any way. In that, when you do, like, there's that punishment from dying, the fact that you get one chance and then it's all over. You know, you build such like an emotional connection to the character that you're playing as. Like, I can individually remember all the characters that I've ever played in Dungeon Crawl that have made it past the lair. Like, I remember all of them.
Yeah.
Because, like, you have to take them so far. And you have to think about everything so much that, like, you have to care.
Yep.
And then when you can and will die, it's that much more devastating.
Yeah.
Like, I had one, like, there's one race in that game, and for those of you that are curious, just research Dungeon Crawl. Sometimes it's called Linley's Dungeon Crawl. It's called like a Demi-Fiend, Archfiend, Demon Spawn.
Demon Spawn. Yeah, Demon Spawn.
And they get these like random weird mutations, but they just advance in normal levels so slowly that, like, theoretically they're one of the most, if not the absolute most powerful max level creatures in the game, or races in the game. The thing is, like, it's very hard to get them there. And I remember I had one like basically to the end of the game, and I just got like super cocky, which is the worst possible thing you could ever do.
Yes.
Right? Because all it takes is a couple bad rolls, you know? Like in Vegas, like, it's not impossible to have red come up 7 or 8 times. It does happen. But you don't think it will. That's all it takes in a roguelike. And if you haven't been paying attention, you're mashing through buttons, you're going to die. You're going to die bad. So, I don't know. It'd be nice. I mean, are there people that, like, are there mods yet for Dark Souls that have permadeath? Like, can you do that?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to the PC mods. I know there's a mod that puts you in New Game +7, where the enemies stop, like, upgrading.
Yeah.
Like, and you could do that from base with no upgrades or anything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for Dark Souls, I mean, it's just literally just play it that way. I mean, it's not that hard if you die or delete the character.
No, you're eating your brother. That's gross.
And now it's gone.
But yeah, no, I like those kinds of roguelikes too, and it's just with this one, the way it's set up, like, having that kind of setup would have made it a completely different game at the same time.
Well, it sounds
because
like
it's more,
you need to have your mutant spawn.
Yeah.
You know?
Because, I mean, this one is, it's basically like a Castlevania bullet hell. And
I've seen the screenshots. I haven't seen any video of it yet, but it does look really fun. Like,
yeah.
I'm sure it'll be in the summer Steam sale for like $4.
At least it'll be a couple bucks off. I know it was off during the Green Man. It's like $1 off during the Green Man games. It was like $9 to begin with, so it's not a.
It will be $5.
Yeah, probably.
Mark my words.
Hopefully, we'll get the Steam summer sale sometime.
So I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter. Fair amount this week. I had a lot of time just with my 3DS, which gave me a lot of time to kind of work on those offline achievements. Not that they're specific, the ones that I needed. Oh, good job. Yay, woo. Sure. But I got the 1 million resource point achievement.
Oh, that was...
So...
Did a lot of Ergon.
Yeah, so, you know, the...
Did you see Jay Leno in your sleep?
He's actually probably doesn't. Oh, I don't know if he's back in New York, if he's in California now. I know there's Letterman and stuff like that. In any case, late night host notwithstanding, I always try to make it so I'm accomplishing several objectives at the same time. And so not only was I trying to get resource points, I was also trying to get the final rare trade thing going as well. So for those of you looking to get the rare commodity thing, what you need to be getting is just the rare commodity from each monster that shows up in the Moga Woods. And that means, having completed every quest in low rank so that they're all appearing there. You don't have to, but capturing them is best. Check for the rare commodity. If they don't have it, just reset your game. It's worth it. Just do it.
I don't think you need to get each one from all the different monsters, because I'm pretty sure I got the reward without getting them all.
I mean, all I'm saying is, what I noticed is I had gotten almost all of them. Pretty much all of them. And what I needed to do to get the actual award is I had to go back to the low rank hunts and get the commodities from all the monsters in the low rank hunts. And then I think I was only really missing a Go-Bull and Baroff. I guess the smartest thing to do is just keep them. Don't trade them and just keep a list. At the very least, a worst case scenario, you need to get one of each monster. Best case, just keep getting them from the large monsters and you'll get it eventually. I don't think you need to get it from the small ones, like
Bullfango.
Banabra, Bullfango. That's what somebody said. I mean, is it true? Is it not?
I never got the Bullfango or Banabra one, so I don't think you need those.
Okay, and we are back, and we are going to discuss Nintendo doing what Sega don't. Wait, no, that's not how that works.
Well, Sega can't do it anymore.
Sega can't do it. Well, neither can Sega. Yeah, they can't.
They don't have a console. But
this is a complete derail.
You know who can? The Ouya.
Oh.
Guys, do you think there'll ever be a day that we'll be able to play Monster Hunter on the Ouya?
Probably, because they already have SNES emulators on the OS, and a lot of the European retailers are advertising it as such.
They probably shouldn't be doing that.
Game's big ad in Europe for their big ad for the Ouya specifically has one of the SNES emulators posted on it, and it's like, play old Nintendo games.
Wow. I'm surprised that a retailer is actually carrying the Ouya.
Yeah, a lot of people
cheap price point.
What is it, like $100?
$100, It's
pretty cheap.
Pretty cheap. There are a lot of people. It's almost an impulse buy for some people. At $100, I'd almost impulse buy it if I had a full-time job.
Well, it does all Android stuff, right? So if you didn't have like a Roku or something like that, you could use it for such things, right?
Yeah. Of course, you could also, use things for your computer to do the same thing. So
or a laptop, or basically any other feasible option.
You could even use a Wii or a Wii U.
Yeah.
To a degree.
Outside of that, there's a number of big Nintendo things this week.
So there was a big fan push just very recently about seeing if Nintendo would end their region lock.
Yep.
Because I guess it's been shown that, on both the 360 and PlayStation 3, by default, there will not be region locking. Of course, individual publishers could limit it or not, depending on what they want, right? Mm-hmm. But you're not forced to do it like on the Nintendo console. And what was Nintendo's response?
No future plans to ever free the systems.
Yeah. Well, they're actually there's two things about this. Like, one, people are actually kind of lucky that Nintendo even said no. Usually they just don't say anything.
Yep.
Usually they're just mysteriously silent. You're like, I wonder if they heard us. This time they just said nope, not going to happen. Interesting reason. Nintendo is probably the farthest of basically any company you could ever think of from going bankrupt. They have literally millions of dollars in cash reserves, just like sitting around.
Yep.
Like, they probably have an operating budget for at least the next 10 years, even if they never did anything.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, Iowata came out this week and was like, yeah, we know we need to fix things, but we have no intention of laying off people to become profitable.
Yeah, well, what I was going to get to is the economics of it. This is an interesting point I saw somebody raise. They saw in the stock market, like the release to the stockholders at Nintendo, they said the greatest threat to their profitability, competition was barely even listed in there. It was concerns in the international currency market is the biggest threat that they have to their profitability right now, principally because they have literally billions of dollars in cash reserves. And so if due to just a minor currency fluctuation, your billions of dollars could suddenly be worth substantially less, or at least you could post a couple $1 billion loss if the currency goes in the wrong direction. So, especially when you keep that in mind, they want to assuage any fears that any of their investors may have in terms of kind of how currency fluctuations are going to continue to affect them. Like, of course, nothing's going to change the fact that they've got billions of dollars, but they say, well, we can't change the fact that we have billions of dollars, but we could at least make sure that these fluctuations aren't going to impact sales of our games and things like that. I mean, never mind do people buy more games if they have the chance to import them or not? I don't know. I've never really studied that. As a consumer, I know I would love to be able to just play whatever on the 3DS I own already. But what are you going to do, right?
Yeah.
I've already imported my Japanese 3DS or whatever.
Yeah.
How many 3DSs do you have in your household?
4, really. I let somebody at one of the meetups borrow one, so I have 4, although I only have 3 right now. So I will have 4 soon. Gross. When the 4th one comes in, my Street Pass is going to go into overdrive.
Collect all the puzzles.
I will have all of the puzzle pieces. The thing is like, I can't... Like, I kind of need, find, a fan or something. I need to, create, a body suit that I could strap all the 3DSs to so I can continue to earn those play points. Because that's my biggest challenge right now.
Get a fanny pack and just put them all in there.
Shepard fanny pack. Not a terrible idea. I'll consider it.
Start wearing more cargo pants. Fill each pocket with a 3DS.
I don't think I can wear cargo pants at my job. I think that's not just
Man, then you have a crappy job.
I know. Banker hours notwithstanding. Although I did once see a custom invention back when Pokewalkers were a thing.
Oh.
Nahxela, did you ever have a Pokewalker?
Yes, I did.
How did you like that Pokewalker?
It was actually pretty cool. I liked it. I wish they kept using it for the newer games and just update it so you could use new Pokemon on it.
Now, was it just a way to level your Pokemon, or did it do different things like change their IVs and stuff like that?
You couldn't change their IVs. It wasn't a significant way to level up because you could only gain 1 level per session, but you could also get rare items and encounter some rare Pokemon, so that was the big incentive of using it.
Being able to capture Pokemon while you were out walking.
Is that so you would automatically capture certain Pokemon just randomly?
No, there's a mini game that's kind of like capturing it in the real game.
You got bait in the ball, and then a ball and a stone, and you could throw the bait to calm it down. You could throw the stone to weaken it, and then you could capture it.
That's like the Safari Zone.
Yep. Was it like that? I don't remember.
I remember
like the Safari Zone. No, I mean that is how the Safari Zone is, but I don't know if the Pokewalker was exactly like that.
It was. It's very. I was just playing with it 2 months ago because someone was wondering if someone wanted to buy it from us with the game, and I'm like, let me make sure it still works because it's been in my box of miscellaneous stuff for a while now. But it was a lot of fun. I mean, it's basically a Pokemon Tamagotchi.
Yeah, pretty much. And then you could also meet other people and then interact with their thing and get bonus rewards or something.
Oh, wait, so would it connect to other nearby Pokewalkers?
Yeah, it is. It connects like infrared.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like, it came out like right before the first PAX East, and we took it to PAX East, and I had a lot of fun with it there.
Oh man, it's similar to Street Passing basically.
I like that. I love the Street Pass. I love that feature. I just wish more people, one, had 3DSs, and two, if they had the 3DS, knew to activate the Street Pass function, because I love it, but there's a lot of people that don't even know it exists. And even if they know it exists, like, they don't care to, like, activate it. Or, like, they don't want to. Like, they actually have legitimate 3DS privacy concerns and things like that. I don't know.
Well, you know, as long as you're not taking naked pictures of people with your 3DS, you're fine.
Which, swap note. You know, it's one to be able to draw whatever you want, but there's actually built-in functionality to send pictures of things. And, like, you know, like, I'll just say it, like, I think a lot of handhelds get used in the bathroom. And, like, there's just got to be at least one section of the 3DS community that just is constantly just sending pictures of things that go on in the bathroom to each other. Hasn't happened to me yet. I don't know how you would even report such a thing if you wanted to. But I sent a picture of a strange cat to a bunch of people that were friends with me on the 3DS. And it was a fun conversation. We got all sorts of strange cats being sent to me. It's very nice.
I get that too. I like those.
Yeah, I got to keep it up. I mean, it's fun. I mean, it's nice because it's like Animal Crossing for real life, and you're sending it to like real people that will actually send you a meaningful response back and like, hey, thanks for the piece of furniture. That was a funny letter. Like, now they'll send you like real things.
And people actually on my friends list talk about their Animal Crossing stuff. Like, there's one person on my friends list who sometimes sends a message out to all the people who have Animal Crossing on his friends list, and he'll say like, I made a new design, come and check it out.
Oh.
You can also check out my other
prices
designs.
And things like that.
Yeah.
I got Fast Charge 3, Edgemaster 3.
Nice.
That's nice.
You bastard.
Use that for something. And so, Cthulhu, you had said something along the lines, the Wii U development cycle seems to be taking a bit longer than expected.
Yeah, so like a lot of people were complaining because, you know, Pikmin 3, Smash Brothers, things like this were taking a really, really long time to come out and being...
Well, the console's only been out for like a year,
yeah,
right?
Well, you know, they had talked, like, Pikmin 3 was supposed to be like a launch game for it, like way back when.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and...
I was unaware.
So, they came out today, or earlier this week, I think it was, and said that the reason it's taking so long is because they underestimated the development requirements for these games, for HD games in particular, because they'd spent so long in the Wii and the 3DS. But HD games take about twice as much development time as it does for a standard definition game. And so they've been basically having to reevaluate their timelines for their projects and their staff requirements now. And so hopefully after this holiday season, when we get these games that are supposed to have been out for a while now, they'll actually be able to sync up and start getting these games out on a little bit more reliable time frames now that they understand that it does have a much steeper requirement.
Well, and also I think, you know, it's this double screen experience, even though maybe some developers are used to things like the DS and whatnot, is kind of like an interesting aspect that they may have a hard time just even wrapping their brain around. Like, how do I do this? How does this even work?
Yep. And so,
a quest that we did last week but got cut is now coming back. We're going to do Motley Crue.
Motley Crue! And then one other Nintendo thing that I forgot about earlier when we were doing the discussion was that the Club Nintendo of Japan got hacked this week.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow, yeah. I heard about that.
If you have a Japanese Club Nintendo account, make sure you're changing your passwords and everything, because...
Oh, man, who does that nowadays? Who still uses, like, the same password for everything?
Well, you know, people... You know, you get, like for me, like, I actually use a program to constantly change my passwords, and on that list, I have, like, 37 passwords.
Wow.
Now, do you... do you constantly change them? You update them?
So
like, I don't update mine, but they are very long. They are over 15 characters long and randomized, so I can't figure anyone would be able to get to them.
The program I use actually puts up a notification every 30 days about, would you like to change this password now? And if I feel like it, I will. But if not, I think I've got one that I think is like 6 months old now at this point. But it depends. Like when you're doing super, like this one does, I think the default is a 20 character password, but a lot of websites and stuff don't go that high, so you can drop it down lower. But when you're
you got to go 15 to 20.
Yeah, when you're doing that much, strings of random characters, it's not that good. But there was actually a study that showed that actually using random sentences is actually better than just random characters sometimes. Like if you're making like a sentence of nonsensical words, like
captures.
Cat. You do like.
I tranquilized a bear off.
Cat eats tree.
Yeah.
It's actually less likely for random password searches to run across that than it is random character searches.
Now, why is that? Is that just the way that they run their thing?
Yeah, it's just the way that most of the random password algorithms run. They don't actually look for set words. They're just running through characters.
They're brute forcing.
And by creating a sentence, it's easier for you to remember as a human being, but it's a little bit more difficult for the programs to find. But at the same time, that takes a lot of time if you're dealing with a lot of passwords. Are you really going to remember 27 different little sentence phrases and whatnot?
Probably not. My feeling on password safety, like, if you're concerned about it, it's like, if you're concerned about being a good parent, you're probably going to be a good parent.
Yeah.
If you're concerned about passwords at all, you're probably going to be fine.
Yeah.
If you take any knowledge to it as all, there is enough slow, dumb fish out there in the sea that the hackers will immediately get to. That you don't have to really worry about it. Like, they're going to be focusing on the low-hanging fruit.
Dang.
Not the person that has any special characters or anything,
Yep.
Going back to Club Nintendo, have you qualified?
I qualified for Platinum membership.
I'm dumb, and I forgot to finish my surveys, so I wasted a bunch of coins.
Well, did you at least get gold?
Yeah, I got gold.
Yeah.
Do we know what the rewards are yet, or are they not?
I don't think they've released them yet. I don't know.
I haven't seen anything about them yet, but I still have last year's platinum pins, and I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I'll probably give them away sometime.
No, there's some of those surveys that are actually really annoying to do. It's like a lot of work just for 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the post-play surveys, like, I want those free coins, but it takes 3 or 4 minutes to complete each one. What did you like
about this game?
I just put period.
The major reason you bought this game?
Who plays this game in your household? What is the age of the person that plays the game in the household?
At least they do the profile thing now, so you could autofill that small part.
I could just have my wife. I have a profile for myself and my wife, and if it's a game for my wife, I just use that. If it's a game for me, I'll use mine. And
well, it is cool though. I like the idea that there are all these free games that they have available with the coins you get, but they're all Wii games.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't be a big deal, but it's like annoying to have to boot into that to play their Wii games,
Well, yeah, and then eventually, they're going to completely bring that network down, and then what's going to happen then? I guess it means you get those games for 99 cents on the Wii U.
And I was thinking of buying some of them for 99 cents, because I would love to have F-Zero 64.
Yeah.
Right? But at the same time, I don't know.
Or Star Fox 64, which I think is one of the new ones now.
I was thinking of getting that for the 3DS, though. That's what made sense to me.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that what I should do? I don't know. Is it better? It's in 3D. Is it still the same game? Probably. I don't know. I bought the Legend of Zelda remake. That's okay, I guess.
I'm looking forward to the sequel to Link to the Past, because Link to the Past is my favorite Zelda game of all time.
Yeah, I forgot that's coming out for 3DS. I want to get that too at some point.
Yeah, definitely a real pendulum switch in just 1 year for the 3DS. I had the 3DS and it basically sat unused for nearly a year straight. Like, I got it right around the time of the Ambassador program.
Yep.
And it really took until, I don't know, Fire Emblem for me to pick it up.
That's what happened to us. Like, we
so
had ours.
So you can all do the math. Like, what is that, a year?
Yep.
Longer?
Long time.
A long time to be sitting around just hanging out with 3DS. And the thing is, like, the original 3DS, like, too tiny. You know, like, if you're used to playing on the DSi XL like I was.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what is this? Like a handheld for ants? Like, I can't read that.
Yeah, and it makes me kind of sad that, like, we have an Ambassador's 3DS, and then we have an XL, and I'm like, I really want my Ambassador games on the XL, but I don't necessarily want to lose the Ambassador.
You do the system transfer, but now that your wife has already started on it, well, you know what that means. You just have to buy yourself another 3DS.
Yep.
XL and transfer it. And have your other 3DS. I don't know, it could be for your daughter.
See, when we bought the XL we have, my wife told me to put all my stuff on, basically to start using the XL, because she knows I can't, like, playing Monster Hunter on the small 3DS was the worst thing ever for my hands.
That was a bad time.
Yeah. But now my bath times are much more enjoyable thanks to the XL.
You see, you're a very brave man to play a handheld in the bath. I just can't.
Well, see,
can't even fathom it.
My bathtub's not big enough to really, like, when I'm laying in the bathtub, my belly, like, is an island in the bathtub. It's a very shallow bath.
Watch out, sand.
We need pictures.
You don't want pictures.
We need a diagram. So even if you were to drop your 3DS, it would fall on your belly.
Yeah, pretty much. The chances of it getting wet are very slim.
Could you get yourself like a waterproof case or something for it? Would that ever?
Probably. I mean, you could I've seen people at, like, beaches and stuff with them, and they'll actually, like, play them inside of the Ziploc bag.
That's creative, I suppose.
A really cheap way to make a waterproof case. I mean, as long as you're not using something that needs the touch screen, you're pretty much good to go.
Oh, no!
But I mean, it's just like the people in Japan who would use the beef sticks as stylus touches for their iPads or iPhones and stuff because they have cold winters. Yeah, so, like, during the winter there on the subway, it's really cold, and so they would use, like, jerky sticks. And because it have the same flaccidity as your fingers, so the touchscreen would recognize it as, like, a finger. And so that's what they'd use to...
But wouldn't it get all oily and stuff like that?
I mean, you get oily from using your fingers on it, too.
I guess the beef jerky is delicious. You know? So when you're done using it, you have a little treat. So I will make the king of all references. So, speaking of Fire Emblem on the 3DS... Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem is due to come out on 3DS, right, guys?
Yep.
If Index, which is the holding company for Atlas in Japan, does not go horribly, horribly bankrupt.
They've said that they should be okay. Like, right now, their current projects, SMT4, something else I forget, and Persona 5 should be fine.
I mean, you know, in terms of the business world, you know, companies go bankrupt, like, all the time. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, if you're a person, like an individual person, you have two basic options of bankruptcy. Chapter 7, which is basically wiping the slate clean. But then what most businesses do, or people do, is something similar to a Chapter 13, which is just like a reorganization of debt. In that, it's not like you can't ever make money again and that you'll never be able to pay back your debts. You just kind of need some time and, like, some cooling off period, you know?
Yep.
To be able to pay things off at a different rate, because at this point in time, you're just not doing too well. Like, think of the American auto companies. Like, they had a similar sort of experience, you know, about 4 or 5 years ago. A lot of them went through something close, if not the same, as, like, a Chapter 13 reorganization. And so with any luck, Index... you know, the company that owns Atlas won't go the way of, like, THQ, where, like, they're, like, completely gone, they're dissolved, they've just completely mismanaged all of their money because of the U-Draw tablet.
Well, like, I actually did a report for THQ, and they had, It was the last 7 product lines they launched. None of them were profitable.
Not even Saints Row?
Not even Saints Row.
Wow. I mean, Saints Row was probably among the best.
Yeah, it was like it was borderline. Like I think it broke even, maybe a little profit, but it wasn't anywhere to like max out, like change anything else. And like WWE, which was their major franchise for the longest time, was underperforming. Basically, they were unable to launch a product successfully for like 3 years.
Well, and U-Draw was just such a spectacular failure as far as I understand.
Oh, yeah.
Like on every level, that product did not perform and didn't sell and cost them a ton of money. I mean, and the sad thing is, like, if they just waited a year or two, you know, the Nintendo came out with the Wii U. Like, just release your drawing game for the Wii U. You're fine.
Yep.
You don't need to release this terrible peripheral.
Yeah, I was working retail when the U-Draw came out, and it was rather hilarious because it came out right before the holiday season, so you expected it to do fairly well, and then it sell, and then at post-holiday, like it was one of the first things to go on the sales list, and it was a huge discount right then and there, and then like right before I left, this was in the span of like 6 months. I wasn't there very long. It went from $100 launch to like we were trying to get it out the door at $19.99.
Dang.
And I remember it got, and that was just after the holiday season.
Yeah.
That wasn't that long. That's like an 80% markdown.
Yep.
Wow. Bad times.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, businesses don't have to post a profit necessarily in order to be successful, because as long as they're selling things and everybody that's working there is getting paid, and the company's building assets and clout, like, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's just when, you know, they're losing money hand over fist.
Yeah, you can't.
That's when things go bad.
You can't have every single one of your products on the market being a fail. If you're losing money on every single product on the market for you're not going to win. There's no way to, you know, yeah, you might be able to sustain for a couple of years, but you have to get something profitable. And unfortunately, and I mean, that's a lot of people like are saying like this could be the end with Nintendo. Well, you know, the Wii U is not going to mark the end for the Nintendo, because the Nintendo still has 3DS as the most popular handheld.
People forget. People always forget. Like, Nintendo doesn't really care about their consoles too much.
Yeah,
it's their handhelds that are their bread and butter. And I think as time is playing out, people are realizing that for the time being, at least, smartphones don't have the same functionality as like a dedicated handheld system. I don't know that they ever can or will either.
I think a lot of it has to do with development on the smartphones. Like, people aren't developing those games for the smartphones. You know,
right? Like, will there ever, even if you had developers developing for it, you're still missing buttons, right?
Yeah.
Do you think people care enough? I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's like Sony had their that phone that basically was a PS3 controller.
Right, yeah, it slid out and it had the little buttons at the PSP Go kind of controller.
Yeah, the same kind of thing. And you know,
yeah. Oh, you're right. You make a good point.
It's possible to do it. And then you've got things like the Bluetooth controllers that people make for them and whatnot. So it's not so much that, you know, you're missing buttons. It's the fact that people are making apps for phones. They're not making games. They're making these small casual experiences. If Nintendo or any game company went out there and said, "All right, I'm going to put, you know, Super Smash Brothers on the phone, on iPhone," it would sell.
People would be like, it would sell, but people would be like, what?
Oh, yeah.
What? Is it? Well, like, if you put, like, the PSP Go controller on the Vita, shrunk it, and made it a cell phone, that would be a really interesting product.
Yep. And so
I don't know if anyone would buy it, but that would, on paper, it seems like that could be a good thing.
I think a lot of people are leery because of the history with the N-Gage, because that's what the N-Gage was supposed to be. It was supposed to be the gaming cell phone.
N-Gage was ahead of its time,
yeah,
for sure.
And I think a lot of people look at that now and say, like, I don't think it can work because of that. But at the same time, you know, the markets have changed a lot since then, and so, you know, I'll be honest. If someone came out and said, here's this cell phone you can get that can play all the Vita games, I'd probably go get it right away, because then I'm like, okay, now I have a cell phone as well as my Vita.
Yeah,
and I'm not having to carry around two separate
Vitas
things.
that literally have like wireless data plans.
Yeah. You can
like,
have
what's
the 3G.
What's the holdup to just put like a little a touchpad in there? I mean, it's weird. It's very bizarre. But like, I would imagine that there would be people that would go ahead and use it as their primary phone. I would probably be one of those people. As weird as that sounds, I mean, but it has basically everything on there that I would need out of a phone. And I wouldn't have the same sort of plan that I would need, like in terms of like an iPhone investment.
Yep.
Like I'm legendarily cheap with my cell phone plan.
Or the fact that you get that new cell phone discount for a handheld.
Oh, sure, yeah. Well, I mean, there was basically a fire sale on the Vitas anyways. I mean, they were being sold at $80 under cost with a huge bundle back over this Christmas. That's when I got mine. Interesting. Okay, so any other topics to go over, guys? I think this has been a rousing and wonderful hour or so of content and conversation.
I think it covers everything.
All right, so this marks the ding. Visit us, please, at teamworkcast.com. Constantly updating that page with new content, videos, and things from viewers like you, as well as from other luminaries in the area, as well as occasional videos that we are doing on our sides, as well as, of course, this podcast. Ding. Okay, so we should be able to have another one of these about the same time next week.
Yep. Maybe it'll probably be sometime next weekend, so we'll see what happens.
Weekend, yeah. Anytime, whenever I edit them, like I'm always tragically late. Whenever somebody else edits them, they're always tragically early. So on average, it balances out. So until next time, good luck. Have a good hunt. And if it fits in your pants, it's okay to play with.
That's weak, man.
3 out of 10?
2 out of 10.
Yeah, 2 out of 10.
At least I've never gotten a 1 out of 10.
1 out of 10.
Is that a 1 out of 10?
0 out of 10.